Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Oil and Tobi from Canadian tech death band Archspire to the podcast. Archspire's last record, Bleed the Future, came out in 2021 on Season of Mist. The guys talk about life on tour, growing up in the 80s, the history of Archspire, and what the future holds. I can honestly say I've never had an interview quite like this one. So I hope everyone enjoys this week's chat with Ollie and Tobi from Archspire. How you guys doing?
Oh, terrible, man. Yeah, we've been on this bandwagon, and Tobi won't let me stay in his bunk with him. He's like, I got my own bunk.
Yeah.
And he wants me to just use my own bunk. So I've been trying to crawl in there at night, and he gets super mad.
Nice.
I can't really, there's just not enough room for the two of us.
Yeah, but I just think, sometimes the AC can get kind of cold, and it's nice to have like a cuddle buddy.
Yeah, always.
Especially, it does get scary at night. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's creepy in here, dude. It's creepy. I think it's actually haunted. Like the bandwagon, it's haunted.
Weird noises and stuff.
Yeah. But other than that, we're doing good. How about you? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing great. Glad to have you here. How's tour going? It's one hell of a bill you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going good. It's it's our second tour immediately after Europe. We did a headliner in Europe and then had a week off, which I don't really remember.
Yeah, we barely had it. We barely had a week off.
We barely had a week.
We got stuck behind.
Yeah,
we missed our flight.
So then, so this one it's feeling really long. But it's going really well, and I think a really cool thing is that we're getting a lot of people coming up to the merch and being like, I've never heard you before.
Yeah,
I just heard you today, and so we're really stoked on that because we do a lot of headliners, and, which is great for us. But it's like really cool to be on a tour where it's like getting new listeners every night. So and so far, pretty good response. Unless people are lying just to be nice. I think they like us.
But they're buying stuff. We've had stuff in the past too, where like someone will come up and like, "Oh, I've never seen you before. Cool," and they just walk away from the merch, which is, I mean, whatever. But now it's like, "Hey, first time I've seen you guys. This is rad. I'll take a shirt. It's fucking awesome." And then and younger crowds too, which is cool.
Let's go back in time. You guys are from up north in Canada.
Yep. Yeah. From Vancouver, on the
most
west
expensive
coast.
city in the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool there. That's where we do our writing, and that's why we can't really leave because we all write together. So we have to all live there. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful city, but it also has its ups and downs. But yeah.
What was growing up like for you guys?
It's growing up.
Ooh,
haven't done that yet.
Yeah, still working on it.
What was childhood like? There we go.
Well, we're touring like our parents aren't home.
Yeah.
We're making a mess of this bus. We get off stage. We're like, I guess we can drink however much we want because our parents aren't around.
Yeah.
So growing up was, but we grew up in similar areas, me and Tobi. You were in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Vancouver, Greater Vancouver.
Yeah, and I grew up on the Vancouver Island and like Quadra Island, Cortez, which is a smaller Gulf islands. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty cool, just like farming, working on an organic farm, being like a fucking hippie kid. But yeah, and then I didn't meet Tobi till, I don't know, how many years ago?
Until we, the band was pretty much solidified.
Yeah, like 14 years ago or something.
Or like 12 or something.
Yeah, we've been a band for way too long, so we're probably going to break up soon.
Yeah.
And then reunite in 3 years and make lots of
fun. Totally.
Yeah, this will be like our last tour, but then we'll keep touring.
We're going to break up. Last tour. Yeah, I don't know. Growing up was sweet.
Yeah, I mean, look, we grew up in the 80s. Yeah, horror movies, G.I. Joe's, He-Man.
Yeah, dude.
Thrash metal.
Ninja Turtles. Fucking, yeah. Evil Dead and shit. It was a pretty cool childhood.
Well, I guess, being exposed to, cool new music and extreme shit. Like, the first time you hear, Slayer or Metallica or...
It's cool.
Were you guys into sports when you were little, or just, music at an early age, or just, cartoons and shit?
I did a bit. I played soccer, volleyball.
All the basic stuff you had to play.
Yeah. Well, I was on soccer teams and stuff, and then I was on a track and field team when I was young.
Oh yeah.
And then, but yeah, music took over because
none of us are really into sports.
No.
We're not like hockey fans or anything.
Breaking the stereotype.
Yeah. Jared probably out of all of us is the only one that he likes hockey.
No, I would just do the basic bare minimum sports in school, but I never really got that because you failed grade 9 basketball and okay, you can't go to grade 10 basketball, but it's the same exact basketball. It's the same game. You're not learning new. You're
just older.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the rules haven't changed, but the players are the same.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, you didn't learn enough in grade 9 basketball about the 3-pointer to go into grade 10. Didn't make any sense to me, but no, we were just both. Yeah, I think we were all more music driven.
Yeah.
Well, what got you into music?
I grew up with like older brothers and an older sister, so they had introduced me to all the shit. Like, what is the first song you learned all the lyrics to? Mine was like Paul Revere by Beastie Boys, and I was like 4.
Mine was.
I thought that was really cool.
Mine was La Bamba.
La Bamba.
When I was like
4.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Weird Al Lasagna one?
Yeah, but that movie La Bamba, I remember I loved that movie. And
who's that guy?
Richie Valens. It was
Diamond Phillips.
Yeah. Played Richie Valens. And I loved that movie so much, and so like I just like would watch it on repeat, and then I like kind of learned the lyrics a bit. And I think the first song I remember ever hearing was a Dire Straits song.
Yeah. What got you into metal?
Ooh. What do you think, Toby?
For myself, one of my best friends, I've known him since I was like 3 years old. We grew up in the same block together, and he had an older brother that was
this
into.
Story's gonna get dark, dude. Sorry.
No. And he was into like Ministry and Metallica and Anthrax, and so like, and he was like this super cool metal guy, and he's like a musician, and his whole my buddy's whole family are all musicians, so there's instruments in their house all the time, and he was always like playing like really awesome metal. So we would just kind of like, he would just give my buddy like, his tapes would be getting worn out, so we'd just give him like, here, you can have my tape, and then be like Ministry and Anthrax and shit. So, and I was probably around 6 or 7 around that time, and so we just started listening to basically whatever his brother didn't want to listen to anymore, or whatever tape he was running out of, and he wouldn't have to go replace it. So we got the hand-me-downs of like metal.
So you thought Metallica was really like slow and shit.
Well, I was so stoked on Ministry at the time because it was like super fast and crazy, and then like hearing Metallica was cool, and Anthrax.
Did you ever get baked to listen to Prodigy when you were a kid? And you're like,
no,
whoa, dude.
Never did.
That was fun.
And then, so yeah, it kind of went from there, and then from that, finding shit on our own. It was just like you started hearing like, oh, what's Cannibal Corpse? And then like, well, I don't know if I should be listening to that. It sounds kind of crazy. And then after, it's like, fuck, this is actually really sick. And then from that, it's like, okay, there's Cryptopsy, and then Dying Fetus, and then it just like rabbit hole. All death
Cannibal
metal.
Corpse is sweet because when you're like a teenager, you think you're super badass for the song names. So you go to a party and you're like, check out this song, it's called this, and then like all the girls are like, that's fucking not cool, dude. Yeah, like looking back at it, that's probably wasn't chill, but it made you feel kind of cool because everyone hated the music you're playing. So you bum out parties. It's sick.
Yeah, I remember doing tests at like in high school at some parties. There'd be like rap and stuff playing, and like there'd be like one, like if there's like multiple party rooms or whatever, and then there'd be rap blazing. The room would be absolutely full, and then like we're like, all right, let's put on some death metal, and then the room, no one would really say anything, but the room would just slowly just get more empty and empty, and then it would just like be like me and like a couple buddies, and then we look around like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, killed the room. Just clear rooms.
Yeah, and then after like, all right, let's put back on like another rap album, and then the room would start to fill up again. So we would do that all night, and just like.
Like, hey, there's no girls around.
Yeah.
Or you like go into like a high school party and put on Manowar, and you got like 12 drunk guys singing along to Manowar, like King Diamond, and it just clears out every single lady. It's pretty fun.
Which is cool.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Who needs them,
Yeah, we got each other, man.
Yeah. Fucking metal brotherhood.
Yeah, dude.
What about you, Ollie?
For first metal stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I think just having like older brothers. Like I had an older brother, they would put on Slayer, and I was like, this sucks, dude, because I was into like Ice Cube. And he would put on Slayer, and it was like old school Slayer with like the high screams.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, sounds like a girl, man. I'm not into this. And then like a month later is all I would listen to. It's like old school Slayer and King Diamond, and just like got really into it. And then Cryptopsy was a big one. When I heard that before I heard a lot of other metal, so I was just really blown away by how weird it was, because I had no idea about the genre. I was just like, this is just a band and they sound like this. So that was really appealing, and then found out there was a bunch of other bands like that. But yeah, I don't know. I remember having a Nile and Dying Fetus on a cassette tape that was like someone had recorded for me. Yeah. And everyone that was like, oh yeah, Dying Fetus, they use like this crazy pitch shifter for their vocals and stuff. It's all like they have all these effects on their vocals. And then I found out it's like not true.
Dude, on some of their old albums, they used to put in the liner notes, there were no vocal alteration on this, like, which is sick, because you used to have to put that. Yeah. Because people would be like, oh no, this is all like studio bullshit. And then they're like, no, this is like actually a dude making these sounds.
I didn't want to sing like that, because I was like, oh, I could put a bunch of monster effects on my voice and it sounds badass. And then I started doing it, and I was like, oh, you can't do that, and I sound like shit. But I can't play any guitar or anything, so I have to just try.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's rad. What was the metal scene like in Vancouver? Was there a good like local scene that you could get into, or was it just like difficult?
I think it was.
I mean, I was in Victoria. You were in Vancouver.
I think for Vancouver, there was like, I guess as like for myself, I was starting to play in like bands and like wanting to start playing in bars and stuff when I was just getting into my like late teens and I guess of age to play in a bar. There was like a lot of death metal and grindcore bands in Vancouver. Like it seemed to be that was the thing. Like just like brutal death metal and like a lot of grindy stuff. And then some black metal in between. But it was kind of like those three genres where there was a lot of at the time. And like this is like late 90s, early 2000s. Which I guess makes sense kind of as a whole, like what was going on. Like those like grindcore had its time around then. But the scene I mean, it's hard to compare it to anything, because at the time it's like even just playing a bar for the first time was like, whoa, cool, we're doing it. We're playing a bar downtown.
It's gotta be like the scene that I grew up with was so fucking wild, man.
Yeah, it's like
all this before anyone knew.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, I don't know. It's just it was cool to just start to get into it, because it was like everything was new. So like it's like a goal was to like you play a couple house parties and like, oh, it'd be rad to play in like downtown Vancouver in a bar, and then you can actually like, have a beer and play in front of people. Like that was a goal. So and then meeting other bands from the scene was cool, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I think I guess pretty solid.
There was lots on Vancouver Island. There was lots of bands playing all the time. There was constantly local bands and just all switching members, and so there's always
a lot of that
shows going on. So you can always play like a basement or play at an all ages like event center, or we had the one pub that did all the metal shows, which was awesome. That was like the dream. Like, oh, if we could play at Logan's, that would be so crazy.
Yeah,
oh, man.
And
there was more venues too back then.
Yeah,
like they're all shit, but it was still like you could metal. There would be like 4 like venues to have metal shows, and like it was pretty cool. But I remember the first time I went to Vancouver was to see Cryptopsy when I was like 16, and I borrowed my brother's ID because he was 19, and shaved my head and put on like a tank top to try to look older. And it worked, so I just kept that style until now I'm 38. I'm also bald though, so that's a big reason too. But I was like, oh, you can look a bit older and then use your brother's ID. But that was a wicked first show of seeing a metal show like that. Was pretty wild. Was that? Did you see them at the Brickyard or the Cobalt? No, you said the Cobalt.
No, it wasn't the Cobalt. It was
it the Brickyard?
No. Oh, maybe that was in Victoria. Yeah, that was in Victoria.
Okay, because I know they used to play. I saw them at the Brickyard.
Yeah, that was the Ice House.
Oh, okay.
Like DeSalvo, and he was it was awesome. But that was pretty cool. But I think it had a lot of bands, which was really really cool. You could always see different bands. I don't know if any of them are still around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just you guys.
Yeah, we're the only band from Vancouver actually ever.
Oh yeah, there's only one of us.
Yeah.
But I'd say like, I'd say there'd be a solid local metal scene and everyone like interchanging bands and like everyone kind of like supporting each other's shit. So I guess pretty good, healthy local scene to start out in.
How did Archspire get started?
Well, how did that actually? I was gonna give a fucking dumb answer, but I guess we just give a serious answer.
I guess
it was our drummer and our old bass player. That our drummer got the bass player, and he was really into all the extreme tech death stuff. So yeah, that's what he was wanting to play, and then he got our bass player Jaron was playing, and then they just recruited, found people. They found me after Toby and Dean. And then Jared is like brand new, basically.
He's still the new guy.
Yeah, he's still the new guy.
It's been years, but he's still the new guy.
Yeah, well, he'll always be the new guy, and he hates it. But it's I guess like Spencer and Darren used to be they were in a band together in Victoria, and then Spencer wanted to kind of like start, like he moved to Vancouver and wanted to like, he's like, oh well, it's a bigger city, more opportunity to find members, and I want to, there's more musicians, so want to start like a tech death band there. And then we lived all together for a period of time there. We've always we would roommate a lot in some really terrible houses, which was sick.
Where'd the name come from?
That was from, so before Ollie joined, we had a different vocalist.
We don't mention that.
Actually, right when I joined, I was in the band for like the first week, and we had this vocalist who actually never came to practice during that week, and then he quit. So it was kind of like, hey, we got all the members, and then he quit after a week. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess we know. But I guess he came up with the name.
The old singer came up with it. It's just a made-up word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And I think he might have saw it in something or put something together from it, and just and then in the end it was like, hey, what, like, if you were to Google search this, like, is there anything with this name? There isn't, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It also is like, first letter of the alphabet, so it's easy to find. It's one word. It's kind of sounds metal.
Yeah, it kind of stands out. It doesn't like if you Google it, like Toby said, it's nothing else comes up. Like, if you're like a band like Of Mice and Men, you Google that, it's just gonna get a sad story about a dim that just kills a rabbit, dude.
Yeah. Well, you spoiled it for everybody.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen Of Mice and Men, it's a hilarious comedy.
Yeah.
But you don't really want that. You want it to be a specific association, not just like a bunch of shit pops up. So
yeah, or like we didn't want to have like a sentence, because that also at the time, I guess this is, I don't know, there were still a lot of those bands that were like full phrases. You don't want to be like the last day of the week.
We didn't want anything gory sounding necessarily.
Yeah, and it sounds kind of, it just works.
What led you guys to Seasons of Mist?
That we were in Europe.
That was like our first real tour, I think.
Yeah, first real tour. We had done like a Canadian thing before that, and then the label we were on got us on, kind of did like a buy-on, got us on this tour, and it was with Decapitated, Flesh God Apocalypse, Aborted, and
that's it.
Yeah, and us. So, and I guess the Michael from Season Mist, like the owner, had heard of us through the U.S. office. The guy that runs that, Gordon Conrad, he heard us on like a metal compilation, like a Canadian metal compilation that I guess we had a song on, and so he contacted the European side of Season and was like, hey, these guys are on tour in Europe, you should check them out. And then I guess
Michael thought we were super cute too.
Yeah.
That really went a lot.
He's like, can I see some photos of these guys before I like?
We sent him some like real spicy pics, dude. He was down. So.
Yeah. He didn't even actually watch the set.
Didn't listen to music at all. I still think no one at that label has actually heard our band before. Yeah, it's just physically based.
So I guess anyways, so we had Gordon Conrad was talking to the head of the Season Mist label, saying like, hey, these guys are on tour, you should go check them out. And then Season Mist contacted us, and then it set up one of the shows when we were playing. I think we were playing in Lyon, in France, when he came to that one. And we actually, because we didn't have a sound guy or anything, we were just going by the house. And the tour package had a really awesome sound guy. And so we asked if he could do our sound that night. We're like, hey, we'll pay you whatever. We just have to sound good because we have a label coming, and we can't sound like as bad as we actually are. So can you make us sound as good as possible? And so I can't remember if we paid him. I don't know what.
I don't know.
Like under 100 euros or something.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so I guess that worked, and then we had to deal with them.
Yeah. Then we had a chat then, and kind of went from there.
I imagine Bleed the Future was a casualty to COVID a little bit, being pushed back. How did COVID affect the band and that release?
I mean, I think as a band, we had to cancel a bunch of tours, but we were lucky enough to get to record during COVID, so we could come back after COVID with new material, which a lot of bands didn't get to do. So they're back on an old tour cycle, or everyone's already heard that, those songs. So we were really fortunate to do that. We had to go into the States to Denver to do it, which was kind of sketcy at the time.
Yeah, it was pretty dense there for
but it was police recording there, but yeah, I think that it helped us out in the long run. I think because we had new material to hit the tour cycle again with. So
and it actually gave us more time to write before going in the studio.
Yeah,
just kind of as COVID hit, it gave it so we were able to do more pre-production and be that much more prepared. So by the time we got to the studio, we were it was.
And we got government money, so that was kind of sick too. So we could just kind of write.
Yeah, we kind of as unfortunate as the times were, we kind of lucked out in some ways with making sure the album was done properly. We even flying in the States was weird, but we were in a totally secluded area and nothing around.
Yeah, that was tour prison. That sucked.
Yeah,
we just stuck in this tiny little Airbnb and just ordered all our food to the door and just went a little bit wacky.
Yeah,
but yeah.
We grew mustaches though; it was fun, and we played backgammon. Drank a bunch of tea.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was a fun little prison sentence.
Yeah.
Like a Canadian prison, so it's just super nice and boring.
Yeah, it wasn't as cool as that scene in Goodfellas where they're all hanging out in an apartment eating
I'm sure we made tomato sauce though.
Oh yeah, so it kind of was like that.
It's kind of basically just like Goodfellas. Yeah, pretty much that same thing. Yeah.
So who did the album artwork for Bleed the Future?
That was the same guy that did our last one for Relentless Mutation. It was Aliran. Okay. He does a lot of metal albums. And that was the second time we worked with him. So, it's cool. It's
nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
You guys dropped a new music video just about a month ago, just called New Music Video. What inspired that?
Oh, the music, the fake music video.
That was the big music video.
That was the prep for the upcoming the real video that we have that's going to be coming out in the next bit. Yeah,
it should be out next. It'll probably be out next month.
Okay.
And we did a Kickstarter for it, and we wanted to do an April Fool's video where I gamble away all the Kickstarter money.
Yeah.
Because we thought that would be pretty funny. So, we had a bit of extra time on the European tour, which we don't normally get.
Yeah. So
because we had a bit more crew, so we had time to kind of dick around and come up with a goofy idea for it. So we did that, but we're really stoked on the actual video that's going to come out very soon. So
nice. I don't know if you can say, is that the kickoff to the next album cycle?
It's not a new song.
It's not a new song.
Okay. No, okay.
It's from the last album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we thought might be a gamble, but we're also we're on this tour we have people that have never heard us, so we're going to put out a video for a song that a lot of people will have already heard, but hopefully we'll have some new Archspire fans will hear it for the first time with that video. So that's kind of the intention. So
yeah, I think the way YouTube and videos work, if something new pops up, people will be like, "Oh, is this new?" And even if it's not a new song, it could be new to somebody else, and then you're into it. So
so hopefully it'll either do well or it'll flop.
Flop, and then people will get really angry at us.
Yeah, it's
but we're used to people getting mad at us.
That's true. Yeah.
You guys are on tour with Whitechapel right now. What's the rest of this year look like for the band?
We're doing a festival run in Europe, and we're going to be
festivals and some in between dates.
Yeah,
with,
we got some cool.
Yeah, we got some cool bands that we're playing with. I don't know if you're allowed to say. I don't know.
They're going to be announced in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're doing a couple dates with Dying Fetus and Converge.
Yep.
Nice.
Which will be fun.
Yeah. We're doing some with Shadow of Intent.
Yeah, some with Shadow. One with Shadow.
Or one, I think.
And then doing some festivals.
Yeah, and then 1 or 2 headliners of ours.
And then after that, then we're going to do Japan and Australia. And then, after that, what are we doing after that?
Oh, and then we have I think 1 or 2 kind of one-off shows that aren't announced yet.
Yeah, we have 2 fly-in shows. In November, and then that's it for the year. Yeah,
and then we're going to focus on writing in the new year. And then if something cool comes up, we'll probably do that.
Yeah.
This year turned out to be a busier year than we thought, which is great.
Yeah.
Because it just with the Tech Trek Europe last month, and then this Whitechapel tour, and then festival runs and stuff this summer, and
because we don't have lives when we're not on tour, so
it's great. It's good use to
But tour is super boring. So when you're on tour, you're like, oh man, I just want to get home, and then you're at home, you're like, oh, home is super boring. I just want to be on tour.
Yeah.
It's an endless
cycle of boredom.
But then also, you get on stage and you play, and it's like, oh, this is great. I love doing
that's
this.
fun.
And then you get to meeting fans and stuff. It's like, all that shit's rad. But then there's just the waiting around game. It's like
sitting around,
But I'd rather be doing this than a lot of things. So
yeah, dude.
So it's great.
Yeah, for sure. What have you been doing in your off time on tour while traveling? Any video games or TV shows or things you're watching and keeping busy with?
I was watching Tournament of Champions, the Guy Fieri cooking show.
Yeah.
I was stoked on that for a bit. And then just listening to podcasts and just not drinking too much on this tour, but still on the off days having drinks during the day. That helps kill the boredom. And then we're doing our own merch on this tour.
Yeah, so that keeps us really busy.
That keeps us busy. Which is just a move because we're on a really expensive bus, and we were like, oh, we can pay someone to do it and then sit around on the bus, or we could just work a bit more ourselves, get to meet people too, which is fun.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to meet all the fans in different cities and interact with them instead of just playing and then maybe spending 10 minutes hanging out. And I think that the people that do like our music, I think that they appreciate being able to hang out.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a fun thing to do. It's just it keeps you busy.
Yeah, it fills up your day. So then I guess when I was talking about sometimes if there's a bit of tour boredom, that this definitely keeps it so
there's less.
There's less, so that
we can bicker about merch numbers and stuff.
Yeah,
that keeps us busy.
Yeah, so but it's it gives us something to do. I guess aside from the rest of our touring schedule this year, I think that's pretty much it. And then we're just gonna try to get back and grind out some writing. And it takes us a long time, so that will be the next step. And the new video will be coming out too shortly, so that's something to look forward to. And then us just working on new music.
Yeah,
and try not to fuck that up.
Thanks for listening to As the Story Grows. Our intro music was written and composed by Jeremy Hunt. The As the Story Grows theme is by Bob Nana. If you like what you hear, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a rating and review. If you'd like to support the show financially, you can join us at patreon.com/asthestorygrows. Be a part of our community and join the ongoing conversation over on Discord. If you enjoy this episode, share it on social media with your friends. Much appreciated, and thanks for listening.
I never felt so young and alive as when I'm diving into a tune. And now I'm learning as I listen along, and the wheels are turning, and I started a song. One good word and I'm gone. Oh, as the story grows. I wanna show